You know, not all 3.5-inch guns are created equal. Here we have the Hellcat Pro and the M&P. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Both of these guns are roughly 3.5 inches in barrel length. They both hold 15 rounds. They both are good quality firearms. So why should you choose one over the other? If you've been watching the channel, you know that I have done a handful of videos on this Hellcat Pro. On those videos, I've had a couple of people drop in and leave comments asking why it is that I went with the Hellcat Pro instead of the M&P, considering I'm all about that M&P life. Today, that's what we're going to take a look at. Hellcat Pro versus M&P. And if you're looking to kill some time, this is not going to be the video for you. It's going to be a fairly short one, actually. I've already done a couple of videos on that Hellcat Pro, like I said, so there's no need to dive too deeply into that. And the M&P, I've already said a dozen times, that's my jam. But today I've got the shorty, the 3.5-inch M&P. The idea with these shorter guns is better concealment. Better concealment while keeping the same performance as their slightly larger counterparts. My primary everyday carry for the last couple of years has been the 4-inch Floyd's Custom M&P. This gun, to this day, is still one of my absolute favorite handguns. It holds 15 rounds, and essentially it is the Smith & Wesson equivalent of the Glock 19. Now this version, the 3.5-inch, it's essentially just a 1/2 inch shorter than my 4-inch. They really didn't change a thing about it. It uses all of the same stuff, all the same mags, the same holsters. It's the same gun. They just cut a 1/2 inch off the end. When it comes to performance, I will say that there is a little bit of a difference in this 3.5-inch to the 4-inch. The recoil is just a little bit more snappy. It's not a huge difference, but I can feel it. We are here to compare the 3.5-inch M&P to the Hellcat though, not M&P versus M&P. I am going to give away the end of this video right now though. The Hellcat, in my mind, is the better choice. So I mentioned that there is a slight difference in recoil between the 4-inch M&P and the 3.5. The 3.5, of course, does have just a slight bit more recoil than the 4-inch. Well, when you compare the 3.5-inch M&P to the Hellcat Pro, I would say the M&P has just a little bit more recoil than the Hellcat Pro does. That, of course, is my personal experience. The Hellcat Pro seems just slightly smoother shooting than what the M&P is. We're not talking about a difference of recoil like we would be between a 9mm and a 357. This is just a slight variation in the amount of recoil. The advantage, of course, going to the Hellcat Pro. If we want to talk about things like accuracy, which of course are important, these guns are basically the same. There's not going to be much variation between the two. Now, I do have an optic on the Hellcat Pro, whereas this M&P is just standard iron sights. Again, both of them accurate guns. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less from either Springfield or Smith & Wesson. We are talking about some sort of back alley broke dick gun manufacturer who's still trying to get their shit together. Both of these companies have been making guns for a long time. They're both going to have accurate guns. Reliability, well, the M&P, it's an M&P. You're not going to find any issues with that. Of course, this one does have the hinged trigger, which I hate, but that's a whole nother story. The Hellcat Pro, I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500 rounds, probably closer to 2,000 by now. Out of that roughly 2,000 rounds, I haven't had any issues with it. So both of these guns run reliably. Either one of them is going to make a great everyday carry gun. Both of them carry 15 rounds and have a crap ton of options as far as high quality holsters. Where the Hellcat Pro takes the lead for me though is the thickness of the slide. I'm not going to get out the calipers, but the slide thickness of the 3.5-inch M&P is exactly the same as the 4-inch. All they did really was they took the 4-inch and they cut the end off. While yes, a shorter barrel and overall length can be more comfortable and easier to conceal, if the gun itself isn't more slim, you aren't going to gain a lot in terms of concealment. If I have to choose between a 3.5-inch M&P and a 4-inch, All day long, I'm taking the 4-inch. As far as how they carry, to me, it's exactly the same. The huge difference, the part that's actually noticeable, it's the thickness of both the slide and the frame. Obviously, measurement-wise, we aren't talking about a huge number when it comes to the difference between the M&P and the Hellcat, but it's enough of a difference that I can feel it when I'm carrying them. I can feel the difference in weight. That alone is big. The Hellcat Pro is lighter to a point of being able to notice a drastic difference in the overall fatigue when carrying all day. Being that the Hellcat Pro has a more thin profile, I feel like I notice less printing than I do with the M&P. I can put both of these guns in the exact same holster. I have McKenna Tech Talon holsters for both of them. I can leave the house, and honestly, the Hellcat Pro carries better than the M&P. I feel like it carries better than the M&P because it is a thinner gun. The fact that it carries better for me, that is why the Hellcat Pro has become my full-time everyday carry. I spent 2 years carrying the 4-inch M&P and going over to the 3.5-inch as a test gun. I genuinely did not see a difference. Going from the 4-inch M&P over to the Hellcat Pro, that's been a major difference for me. And that's why when I leave the house, the Hellcat Pro is the one that I grab. In the end, these things are all about personal preference. It's all about what feels good to you, what works for you. These videos where some stranger on YouTube gets up and says definitively that this gun is better than that gun, that this gun is the superior choice, the perfect choice for a concealed carry gun for you, it's all bullshit unless it fits your specific needs. I make these videos to give you my perspective and my opinions. I do that because maybe I throw out a point that you didn't think about when weighing options for your next concealed carry gun. Maybe I give you a little something to think of that helps you make a better informed decision on your next purchase. That's what it's all about. You all making the best possible decisions based on the available information. The Hellcat Pro, to me, it's the superior gun to the 3.5-inch M&P, just based on weight and overall thickness. If you're trying to make a decision between these two guns, just keep that in mind. If you want something that's a little easier to conceal, you need something that's a little slimmer, something like the Hellcat Pro. The bottom line is get both of these guns in hand, test them out at the range if you can, then make your decision. I hope this video has helped at least one person who's been going back and forth between these two guns. That's it. That's all I have today. You know, as always, I will be back soon with more content. Get out there and train, do it safely, and enjoy.